It's not just as simple as, well, this is just a live, viable baby. We'll just do a C-section and we'll save its life and we can put it up for adoption if the mom doesn't want it. That is literally not what is going on.
What do you guys think about third trimester abortions? Do you think that that's okay, or do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. In the case of health of mother or baby, absolutely.
Like, what cases do you think would be, justification for a third trimester abortion, like health-wise?
I think, well, anytime, honestly, a woman deems it necessary, but it's generally because of a really severe disease or disorder with the infant that makes it, it wouldn't have a viable life or would have, a lot of pain. And then I read a lot of times if women are diagnosed with, some sort of heart disorder or something like that, that means that childbirth itself would be harmful to them, then they'll choose to do that.
Do you think that third trimester abortions are okay, or do you think that those should be illegal?
I think that people who have third trimester abortions do it because they really need to, and it's a heartbreaking choice, and I don't think it should ever be politicized at all, particularly by people like you. I think that's extremely inflammatory for people. People have just gone through the most heartbreaking experience of their life.
What do you think about third trimester abortion? Should it be legal or illegal?
I think that depends on how cool the doctor is. I think that's up to the doctor.
Yeah, I think it really just depends on whether or not the
Doctor's cool.
the doctor is
Cool.
licensed or not.
Yeah.
I think only unlicensed doctors should be able to do that.
Only unlicensed doctors?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think that way you can get a kind of more fun outcome.
What do you guys think about third trimester abortions? Should it be legal or illegal?
Third trimester abortions.
Yeah.
I think it's up to really the woman that's having it.
Yeah. She should make the call whether or not to abort or keep the baby.
Yeah, I really do. It's woman's choice.
Her and her own doctor.
Yes.
But okay, so at third trimester, you are aware that the baby could be
Yes, I know,
removed
I'm a
and
nurse.
still live,
I
right?
realize that. I'm a nurse. Yes, I understand that.
Do you think that the babies could just be delivered alive and then the woman doesn't have to have the baby in her anymore and the baby could still have a chance at life?
Typically, people who have third trimester abortions, the pregnancies either are not viable or the child will have to suffer a really painful death after they're born, and I don't think that women should have to be forced to put their fetuses through that.
It's definitely something that you would want to do at someone's house, no
Basement.
hygienic.
Because house would be more of a.
That's true.
You could probably see my mom would find out.
Are you thinking that maybe it's medically necessary in these cases to have a third trimester abortion?
Typically, it is.
What situation could you imagine that would make it necessary to have an abortion?
Actually, I don't have to imagine because I had a second trimester loss and it was extremely heartbreaking and life-changing. And unless you've ever been there, I wouldn't recommend speculating on it.
I was asking about third trimester abortions.
Correct. I don't really think there's a difference. If you're past the age of viability and you have to go through a loss like that, it's really heartbreaking regardless.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. And people who want their pregnancies, do not end them in the third trimester. You guys are just trying to villainize these women, and I support women's right to make the decisions that are right for their body.
If there's a danger to the mother, then they should be I'm sorry. It's up to them, the family. They have to make the decision. I don't think we should.
Because you know that if there's a danger, they can do an emergency C-section. They don't have to kill the baby, right?
Whatever the decision is, they should be doing it. Yes.
It's the mother's decision and her doctor.
Should mothers be allowed to decide whether or not their already born kids are killed?
Come on now.
How's that any different?
All right.
But really and truly, how's it any different? It's really not different. One day the baby's in the stomach, the next day the baby's out of the stomach. How's it any different? The baby's still a living, breathing, feeling being. It's not any different. Abortionists and OBGYNs have said that there's not a medical emergency need for a third trimester abortion. Like, for example, we know that women get preeclampsia and they have these emergency situations where you go in and you have to save the life of the mother. Obviously, her life comes first. But in those cases, they do a C-section and they take the baby out alive.
People don't typically have terminations for things like preeclampsia. People typically have second or third trimester terminations because of anomalies that are incompatible with life that are going to cause more suffering for fetuses. So I don't understand why you would want to put babies through that, honestly. It's not just as simple as, well, this is just a live, viable baby. We'll just do a C-section and we'll save its life and we can put it up for adoption if the mom doesn't want it. That is literally not what is going on.
I know you guys are trolling, but in all seriousness, do you think that babies in the womb should be protected at all?
They are. They're in the womb.
They got the
They're,
womb.
yeah.
Yeah.
They got a nice,
And if
buffer.
the
Until an
mother's
abortion
carrying.
provider yanks them out or cuts them into pieces?
Yanks them.
Oh, like
Sucks them out with a vacuum?
Oh, that would be if that would be a nice bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
But I gotta.
So they're
train the
protected until they're sucked out with a vacuum, right? And then
Well,
discarded?
they're protected by the. So
Womb.
what happens
And if
is
wife is
they're
a
in the
little chubby,
stomach,
Yeah.
not in the womb.
And then they get pushed out. I think.
Yeah.
But first they get a needle.
They, like,
But first
squeeze
they get a
out,
needle
like-
stuck into
like
them
a-
and
like a
injected
toothpaste.
saline.
Well, in house, I
Tube?
saw one time they cut the stomach open, and then I don't know if that was in real life, but that was a TV show.
But first they get the big saline injections through the needles. You know, the needles that go in and inject them in the heart or brain with
Yeah,
saline.
Like fracking,
Or like
fracking,
or
where
like
they just shove.
vaccines. I got a
Oh.
couple vaccines. My brother got a
haven't.
vaccine, and
I
then
haven't.
we lost him. He got like. I don't remember what happened to him,
I haven't
but I
got
think
any.
it might have been the vaccine. I'm not sure what it was.
Do you think that those babies could possibly just be delivered alive?
I
And
think that's really the mother's choice. If
Yeah.
the babies are going to have severe disabilities, I'm sure it's a really hard choice to make. But if the child's quality of life isn't going to be good, the mothers must feel it's better that way.
that it's better just kill them?
Well, they're not alive, so
Well, their heart is beating.
they're not alive though. They're not a human yet, so
They're not a human?
not yet.
So then what are they?
Well, they're a growing human, but until they're born, they aren't. It's not killing an infant until it's.
You
born.
think that until they're born, they're not actually like consciously experiencing anything?
No.
Like as though they're like in a coma or something?
Well, they're not. I don't know. Their brains aren't even fully formed, so I don't know if you could call it a coma. I'm not sure what the medical, terminology is.
So what do you think happens when they're born? Like they just turn on?
No, I don't think that. But we're gonna go eat now. So thank you.
Okay. What about premature babies? Do you think that they're not on yet or something?
Thanks.
They haven't been turned on? So the babies just don't feel anything? They haven't been turned on yet? That's crazy. People are brainwashed. It was interesting. I spoke with a girl today who thinks that babies just turn on as soon as they're born. Like they're not conscious, they're not awake. As a medical student, do you know that that's whether that's true or not?
I mean, it's not true that they're just turned on, but
Are babies just kind of in a comatose-like state when
no,
they're in the womb?
not. They're not in a comatose-like state. They're moving around. We all know that. But
Well, some people don't. That's why I was asking you since you're a
yeah.
medical student.
Yeah, but they're not. Yeah, she was wrong in that sense. They're not just like life doesn't just start like that.
I think it should be illegal. That's too close. You should not be able to pull a baby out and kill it, especially during a live one, because right there is my grandson, and that's just not right. And it's just not right at all. I think it should be illegal all the way around. First trimester, if something is going to go wrong, maybe, but not a third trimester. That's almost a full-grown baby inside of a womb, and I don't believe in that.
What do you think about third trimester abortion? Should it be legal or illegal?
Third trimester?
Yeah, third trimester.
Illegal, I think.
You think?
Yeah.
Why do you think so?
I think it's basically a life by then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think should be done then? Do you think they should pass a law that, protects life at a certain stage?
Yeah, at a certain stage, I think so. I think that would be good.
A woman can decide because of her own mental health or mental issues to terminate a third trimester baby.
And she should be able to have that decision.
But don't you think the baby should have a choice as to whether or not its body is killed?
You have a good night.